DETV News is sponsored by Newcastle County Government.
A longtime educator has been named to lead the Department of Education.
And don't be alarmed, but you may see someone in a bright vest taking notes at your home. We'll tell you why.
A family is in mourning after a freak accident in Bear. The sad details are ahead. Those stories, along with weather and sports, are coming up. Good evening and welcome to DETV News, your trusted news source. I'm Lauren Wilson.
And I'm Matt Ford. Thanks so much for joining us.
Topping the news, a woman elected to be the watchdog over taxpayers' money in Delaware has been charged with misusing it. State Auditor Kathy McGinnis was indicted this week. Attorney General Kathy Jennings accuses McGinnis of abusing her power. She reportedly hired and supervised her own daughter and a friend of her daughter for jobs they didn't show up for when the girls were in high school. That's not all. The AG says she also allegedly funneled money to political campaign groups and spied on and discriminated against employees who questioned her about it.
If anyone should know better, it is the state auditor. Instead, as our investigation has shown, Kathleen McGinnis carried out the very misbehavior that she was elected to stop.
According to Jennings, McGinnis's daughter was paid more than $19,000 and was given access to a state vehicle. She was also kept on the state payroll when she went to college in North Carolina. Records show McGinnis's daughter only logged in for her online position 15 times. McGinnis isn't talking but pled not guilty at her arraignment on Tuesday. Her attorney says she's innocent of the charges. Some elected officials have already called for her to take a leave of absence until the case is resolved.
Delaware will have a new Secretary of Education soon if Governor John Carney gets his way. Carney tapped former Brandywine Superintendent Mark Holodick to replace Susan Bunting, who just last week announced that she was stepping down. Carney cited Holodick's decade of running Brandywine schools and his tenure as a school principal as the experience needed to lead the state's education system. Holodick currently heads up coaching and professional development programs for the University of Delaware. The nomination must be approved by the state Senate. If confirmed, Holodick said he would serve with much gratitude and enthusiasm.
In other news, University of Delaware students took to the streets on Tuesday afternoon in protest of what they believe is the institution's slow response to the brutal attack of a UD student earlier this week. The alleged attack happened on October 8th at an apartment on the 100 block of East Main Street. Police say 20-year-old Freire allegedly hit the woman with blunt objects, choked her to the point of unconsciousness, and locked her in the apartment, all before throwing her down a flight of stairs. Once she escaped, she reported the incident to police and was treated and released at a nearby hospital. Angry students accused the university of trying to protect its reputation over the safety of other classmates. Soon after the protest, the university issued a statement denouncing the alleged violence. Freire has been banned from the campus. The fraternity Kappa Delta Rho also suspended his membership, saying there is no place in our society for such behavior. Freire was arrested but made bail for $38,000, and indications are more student protest may be planned.
Tragic news for a family living in Bear. A 3-year-old boy was killed and his 6-year-old brother was injured in a freak accident. According to Delaware State Police, the boys fell off the running boards of a pickup truck that was driven by their 13-year-old brother. It happened on Sunday shortly after 7 p.m. on Red Lion Road. Police say the teenager yelled at his brothers to get off the truck. He apparently started driving when he thought his brothers were off the vehicle. Police say the 3-year-old was run over by the truck. The investigation is ongoing.
A Brandywine School District special education teacher has been named Delaware's 2022 Teacher of the Year. Joshua Tabron was selected out of 20 other teachers in public and charter schools in Delaware. She's a graduate of Delaware State University and has been teaching for 22 years. All of the Teachers of the Year finalists received a $2,000 cash grant. Tabron won an additional $3,000 and can spend $5,000 more to benefit her classroom.
We're going to take a quick break. Stay with us. You're watching DETV News.
This message is brought to you by Newcastle County Government.
While we have vaccines that are highly effective, some folks are non-vaxxers, and I get that. But at the end of the day, it's not about you. It's about that 5-year-old, that 6-year-old that don't have any options. Should they get infected and you be unable to hold their hand in the ICU simply because you chose not to be vaccinated, that's a tough pill to swallow.
Welcome back to DETV News. Here with your 3-day forecast is Shakira Denise.
Thanks, Matt. Everyone, you'll definitely want to be outdoors for these next couple of days because the weather is going to be pretty nice. Friday is expected to be a mostly sunny day with a high near 82 degrees. Friday night, there's a slight chance of showers after 2 a.m. with a low around 66 degrees. And on Saturday, showers are forecasted with a possibility of thunderstorms before 8 p.m. The high will be near 79 degrees with a low of 52 degrees. Now, things change a bit on Sunday, so you want to be prepared. Expect a sunny day on Sunday with a high near 65 degrees. Sunday night is forecast as clear with the low around 50 degrees, so you're definitely going to need those sweaters. That's your upcoming weather forecast. Back to you, Matt.
Thanks, Shakira. Home and business owners throughout Delaware may soon be visited by a data collector in a bright orange and yellow vest bearing the name Tyler. It's all part of the first statewide property tax reassessment being done in decades. Data collectors will show identification and ask property owners about the characteristics of their home or business, collect measurements, and make observations on the outside of the property. Visits will begin later this month and are expected to be completed next winter. Property owners do not set up appointments and they do not need to be home for the assessment. The inspectors will not enter the home unless invited by the property owner to view something specific inside. Typically, a reassessment results in a 1/3 of property owners seeing an increase in taxes, another 1/3 seeing no difference, and the remaining 1/3 seeing a decrease. The new tax values will be used on 2023 tax bills in Newcastle County and on 2024 tax bills in Kent and Sussex counties. The sweeping reassessment came about when a judge ruled the way the state's 3 counties calculate property values for taxing purposes is unconstitutional. Paul Miller with Texas-based Tyler Industries said visiting each property is necessary because of how long it's been since a full tax assessment has been done.
The only thing we're doing is making sure that the assessments are fair and equitable by updating them to current value. They'll be more accurate, and then people that are paying too much today will see a reduction. People that are paying too little today will see an increase, and it'll be the bringing back equity to the county as far as real estate taxes.
Tyler and Newcastle County will hold a series of 5 public meetings to explain the process. Seating is limited for in-person meetings and registration is required. People can also join via Zoom. For more information, visit the county website at newcastlede.gov.
An inmate's death at the Howard Young Correctional Institution is now at the center of a state police investigation. Police say 20-year-old Quinn Annable was found suffering from what's being called a medical emergency in his cell. Correctional officers did CPR before he was rushed to Christiana Hospital in critical condition. 4 days later, he died. A state medical examiner will determine the cause of death as the police investigation continues.
A party in Dover was the scene of a mass shooting as 1 person was killed and 4 others injured. It happened outside of a home in the 1500 block of Nathaniel Mitchell Road. A 22-year-old man identified as Brendan Harmon was killed and 4 others injured, with 1 listed in critical condition. Delaware State Police say when a vehicle approached the scene, its occupants fired multiple rounds at partygoers. The car drove away in an unknown direction. The police investigation is still underway.
Here's a question. Can a paintbrush bring neighbors together? The Westside Grows organization says yes. For the 3rd year in a row, community members, local organizations, and churches came together to celebrate the communities bordering I-95 in Wilmington.
And the whole concept of this event, both the painting and the celebration that we do every year, this is our 3rd year, is to basically reunite the communities that have been so divided by the construction of I-95.
This year's event included a mural painted on the 8th Street Bridge, along with art activities for kids and a community party that was held last Saturday. Flowers were also planted to spruce up the area. Speaking of sprucing up, the former B&O train station off of South Market Street in Wilmington will get a new look. It's now the home of Tech Impact Opportunity Center. Tech Impact, a non-profit organization, purchased the site with support from a $1.25 million grant from Barclays Bank. The Tech Impact Center will help nonprofits use technology to improve their own operations and to make tech have an impact on society. Denny Nealon, the head of Barclays, said he's been walking past the train station for 20 years, and he's happy to see that historic building being put to good use.
We'll be right back after this break. Stay with us. You're watching DETV News.
This message is brought to you by Newcastle County Government.
Many wonder, what is a variant? A variant is a mutation or a change in the genetic sequence of the virus. Some of our methods of treating COVID-19 become ineffective. If we were to simply get vaccinated, we could decrease the spread and the likelihood that a mutation would form in the first place. Let's get vaccinated.
Welcome back. A women-owned house cleaning business is ready to empower other women to dust off their skills and polish up their techniques in a new partnership with the Delaware Department of Health and Social Services. The all-female venture aims to link disadvantaged women to sustainable employment opportunities. Kelly Jones, founder and owner of The Cleaning Girl, started the cleaning company in 2013. Now with DHSS, they created the Cleaning Girl Training Academy. DHSS subsidizes wages for women who want to enroll in the 3-month-long academy, paying them $12 per hour through a federally funded program for needy families. Jones pays them an additional $3 per hour on top of that. The women must be receiving some kind of state assistance or be 200% below poverty level to qualify. The program is the first female-centric employment training program offered by the Department of Health.
Visitors to the Dickinson Plantation in Dover will now get to see the burial sites of enslaved people. The burial ground is believed to contain the remains of people who lived, worked, and died on the plantation. Those remains were found during an archaeological dig in March. The discovery is believed to be the final resting place for enslaved, indentured, and free Black men, women, and children. Using handwritten letters, journal entries, and aerial photographs, researchers pinpointed the approximate location of the site. A state historian working on the project says the burial ground will be treated with the honor and respect it deserves.
DETV was on hand at the Urban Promise School on Thatcher Street in Wilmington when it became the first school in the state to enroll in Operation Expanded Testing, a federal COVID-19 testing program. Operation Expanded Testing, or OET for short, is a federal government initiative to provide fully funded surveillance PCR testing to schools and community organizations as a safety measure against COVID-19. Through OET, Urban Promise is providing weekly testing for its 80 students and faculty as one of many COVID-19 safety measures with the goal of maintaining in-person learning for the school year. OET will provide no-cost COVID-19 surveillance testing to schools, prisons, homeless shelters, and nonprofit community centers through July of 2022.
DETV was also on hand for the Faith and Blue prayer service weekend hosted by Newcastle County Police. The evening was all about prayer and worship with the goal of strengthening community bond. The event began with a blood drive hosted by the American Red Cross, followed by the prayer service. The National Faith and Blue Weekend is held all over the country, and organizers represent all major national law enforcement groups and every faith. The purpose, they say, is simple. Communities are stronger and safer when law enforcement professionals relate as ordinary people with shared values, hopes, and dreams.
Low taxes and beaches make Rehoboth Beach a dream town for retirement. That's according to the American Association of Retired Persons. It seems families in the Delmarva area looking to retire reported they made the move to Delaware beaches because the lower cost of living was the main attraction. The mild climate, the lower taxes were also on that list, not to mention the close proximity to the boardwalk.
We're going to take a quick break. After that, Nick will be here with sports.
Let DART do the driving. DART First State provides transportation that is clean, safe, reliable, and affordable. Plan your trip and get real-time bus information with the free DART Transit app. Scan your phone to pay your fare with the free DART Pass app. So what are you waiting for? Try transit today. Visit dartfirststate.com or call 1-800-652-DART.
Welcome back to DETV. I'm Nick Alessandrini, and a lot has gone down in the past week or so here in sports in Delaware, and we'll get started with Nolan Henderson is out for the remainder of the season for the Blue Hens, had surgery earlier this week. Some huge high school football games came down to the wire, and Ben Simmons has joined the 76ers in Philly a few days after the blue-white scrimmage here in Delaware at the Fieldhouse. And of course, the Birds are back in action prime time tonight as they play host to Delaware native Chris Godwin and the Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But we start with our recaps from last week and some great games, including a big win for the undefeated number 2 ranked St. Elizabeth Vikings over another 1A ranked opponent, number 3 Indian River. Quasim Benson did it on the ground as he finished with 118 yards rushing and a score. And then in the second quarter, Saints quarterback Brett Smick would find Chris Character for a 20-yard touchdown as the Vikings would get the win 14-7. Dalton Hall finished with 85 yards and a touchdown on the ground for Indian River, and Hayden Hall had 2 interceptions. The Blue Raiders and new head coach Marvin Dooley continue to have success as they get another win in a matchup of undefeateds with number 1 in Class 1A, Laurel. The only points of the game came on an 85-yard touchdown pass from Seth Smart to Lexton Westcott in the 4th to give the Blue Raiders a 6-0 win. The second time in 2 weeks Woodbridge wins by 1 score. They advance to 5-0 and Laurel falls to 4-1. And last but definitely not least was a matchup of ranked teams in Class 3A, St. George's and Smyrna, in a battle that came down to the wire. Smyrna trailed 21-8 at the half, but that would change as they would rally behind quarterback Cameron Edge, who would find Devin DeMoe for a 19-yard touchdown with 50 seconds left to play, and that would get them the win 30-24. Now the Delaware Blue Hens will travel to Long Island this week as they will have another CAA contest, this time against Stony Brook. The Hens are coming off a tough loss to CAA opponent Rhode Island on Saturday, a game in which they were without starting quarterback Nolan Henderson, who will miss the rest of the season after having surgery earlier this week. Salesianum grad and backup quarterback Zach Gwynn will take over as the starter for Delaware, and the Hens, they're 3-2 and ranked 15th in the latest FCS coaches poll. Kickoff between Delaware and Stony Brook is set for Saturday at 3:30 p.m. with coverage starting on 94.7 WDSD at 2:30. Fans were able to get back together at the Chase Fieldhouse on Saturday for the annual 76ers Blue-White scrimmage. Again, no scrimmage last year due to the pandemic, and the event was played over a sold-out crowd here in 2021. A very entertaining event as the Sixers fans got to check out the newest additions, Andre Drummond, Jaden Springer, and George Niang. No stats were kept, but the second unit ended up winning 65-45. If you did make it out on Saturday, you were probably aware there was no Ben Simmons present, but that all changed earlier this week. Simmons passed his physical and arrived in Philadelphia and met with the 76ers staff on Tuesday. Sources reported that Simmons had a brief meeting with General Manager Elton Brand and Team President Daryl Morey, their first conversation since August. Simmons, however, will have to wait until Friday to join the team due to COVID safety protocols. And tonight, not your ordinary Thursday night, as the Birds are back in action on a short week in prime time against the defending Super Bowl champs. Wasn't pretty through one half of play last Sunday against the Panthers, but the Eagles found a way to win the game, and they'll look to have a little better showing tonight if they want to take down Tom Brady and the Bucs. Lane Johnson did not practice again this week for personal reasons, and Eagle head coach Nick Sirianni said he is unsure if Johnson would rejoin the team this season. Tight end Dallas Goedert is also likely to miss the contest tonight as he was placed on the reserve COVID list earlier this week. It's a return home for Middletown grad Chris Godwin, who has been a major part of the Bucs' success early in his career, and it should be a great matchup tonight from the Link. Doesn't get much better than prime-time football. The Eagles are 7-point underdogs, and kickoff is set for 8:20 on Fox. Now it's time for our top plays of the week with the help of Delaware Live Sports, and we've got some great ones for you here. We're going to get started with the Smyrna Eagles, Cameron Edge and Devin DeMoe. You heard about it in the recaps. Here they are from the 20-yard line. Edge out of the shotgun, stands in the pocket, fires over his receiver's shoulder. DeMoe, nice catch, not 1 feet, but 2 feet in bounds for the Smyrna receiver, capping off a huge day for him. Smyrna with the comeback victory over St. George's. Then Cade McPeak from Tower Hill. St. Andrews came into this contest with some momentum, but Cade McPeak taking it away from him right here, just stands him up and then rips the ball loose and is going to take it the other way. Cade McPeak for the Hillers, and Tower Hill on their way to a 44-0 victory over St. Andrews, stalling that St. Andrews good season. Then on to number 2, Seth Smart to Lexington Westcott, the only score of the Woodbridge Laurel game last week, and this was a tight battle. Tech out right here, the pass over the top. Westcott goes up and gets it, and then it's a foot race from there on. Pass midfield to the 40, going to make one cut back inside, 30, 20, and he's off to the races. The game-winning score in the battle of ranked teams. Woodbridge gets the win over Laurel, 6-0. On to our top play. Again, you saw Cameron Edge earlier. Check out this one to Ymir Knight, the Knight name familiar here in Delaware. Here's Cameron Edge going to fire across the middle of Knight, and he is the king of yards after the catch. Check out Knight here. Look at the speed. No one going to even touch him as he just propels straight down the field, 50, 40, 30. And that'll do it for sports this week. Don't go anywhere. More news ahead right here on DETV.
Auto accident, medical negligence, work injury. Contact Team Tice, your Delaware personal injury lawyers. Leroy Tice in Wilmington, Delaware, serving and supporting the people of Delaware. Call 302-489-2400. That's 302-489-2400. Online at teamtice.com.
Welcome back, and get ready. Organizers are promising the largest parade scene in downtown Wilmington for the 100th anniversary of the Wilmington Fire Department. The lineup so far for the October 23rd parade includes 20 bands and more than 40 fire companies, police departments, paramedics, and EMS. The parade steps off at 10 a.m. at 16th and King Street, past the reviewing stand on Rodney Square, and proceeds to 4th and King. Bands include the University of Delaware, 10 pipe and drum bands, 6 high school marching bands, and the official drum line for the Philadelphia 76ers. Also on tap will be an antique apparatus display, a water fire rescue boat display, and more. All that will take place from noon to 4 at the riverfront. There will be plenty of free parking, so you won't want to miss what sounds like a crowd-pleasing event.
Wilmington's National Night Out last week was a big success as residents got to meet some of the men and women who help keep their community safe. National Night Out is a community-based event that activates citizens both locally and around the country to promote public safety, police-community partnerships, safer communities, and appreciation for first responders. Children and families have the opportunity to interact with Wilmington's first responders and view police, fire, and other emergency vehicles and equipment. Parents were able to obtain free identification cards for their children at the event as well. Officers from the WPD K-9 unit were also on hand to conduct demonstrations and do meet and greets with some of the unit's dogs.
Delaware's First Lady Tracy Quillen Carney helped celebrate the 1 millionth project called Dash Delivery. It happened at the Food Bank of Delaware's Newark warehouse. The commemoration was marked by the packing of the ceremonial 1 millionth food box that was given to the DoorDasher for delivery. Since June of this year, the partnership with Project Dash has provided meal boxes to Delawareans who are homebound or lack transportation. Thanks to the DoorDash partnership, the food bank has been able to provide close to 500 home deliveries.
And finally, a Wilmington woman heard clearly for the first time in years this week when a national campaign that gives away hearing aids hooked her up. Sharon Taylor has a long-standing history of hearing loss and was tired of the amount of stress it caused her on a daily basis. In addition to struggling with communication, she is unable to hear approaching cars, emergency sirens, and alarms. Now, thanks to the campaign for better hearing, the quality of her life has vastly improved. Taylor received a hearing assessment and hearing aids for free. The campaign raises money for those that cannot afford the hearing aids. If you want to help others like Sharon, you can complete a free hearing assessment with Hearing Life, and $5 will go towards the national campaign. That goal is to raise $100,000 by January.
Matt, that sounds like a great program.
Totally. It was so easy. I was able to do it during the commercial break, so I highly encourage everyone to go ahead and do that and help out the community there.
I'm going to have to do the same. Excellent. Thank you for watching DETV News. I'm Lauren Wilson.
I'm Matt Ford. Be sure to check us out all across social media. Stay well, and we'll see you next time.
DETV News is sponsored by Newcastle County Government.